Hello, I'm Russ McCubbin, president of International Ozone. We have been manufacturing ozone generators and hydroxyl generators for many years, over 20 years. The purpose of this video today is to train you on the difference between our ozone generator, the Total Zone brand, and the other units on the market. We'll tell you how what ozone is, how it's made in nature, and how it's made by man, and the uses of it. We'll start off with what ozone is. Ozone is activated oxygen. It's a 3 oxygen atom molecule. Regular oxygen is 2 atoms. The way ozone is produced, it is split. The O2 is split by some process and made into O1. That O1 will combine back with O2 and make O3, which is ozone. What makes ozone safer? So ozone is not safe. To be used around people. You should never use ozone in occupied areas. But what makes it safe is it's like a bee. Once it does its job, it turns back to oxygen, and then it's safe to be around. The average half-life of ozone is 20 minutes to an hour. So usually once your ozone machine has turned off, if you wait an hour after the machine has turned off, it's usually safe to go back into the area. The way ozone is produced in nature, there's 2 ways that ozone is made, either with ultraviolet light in the 185 nanometer range, or electrical arc with high voltage electricity. In nature, the ultraviolet light way is the sun. The sun strikes oxygen in the upper atmosphere, splits the O2 into O1, which combines back with the O2 and makes O3, and that is how we get the ozone layer around the Earth. Without the ozone layer, there would be no life on Earth. The reason for that being, ozone actually absorbs the bad UV light, the UVC light that's coming from the sun. If we did not have the UV layer, that light, UV light would just cook everything on Earth, and there would be no life. I'm sure you all have heard of the holes in the ozone layer. The reason for that is when chemicals, chlorofluorocarbons and hydrocarbons and things that are lighter than air rise up into the ozone layer, the ozone does its job. It attacks it and kills that pollutant, but in the process it also kills itself. It turns back into oxygen. And why there is a hole in the ozone layer is there's more pollutant rising than there is ozone being produced by the sun. That's slowly being taken care of by cleaner cars, safer freons, and things like that. So eventually the ozone layers will be healed and there will be no problem there again. The second way ozone is produced in nature is the high voltage arc, is lightning. I'm sure you've smelled the air after a thunderstorm and how nice it smells. The lightning does the same thing. It splits the oxygen, it comes back, combines back, and makes the ozone. Ozone at ground level is not really a good thing. You've heard of ozone warning days where there's so much ozone in the atmosphere where it'll affect people. That again and it's the same thing if you're producing ozone with an ozone generator. Never run ozone around people in an occupied area. Always do it in a vacated area and then come in after the fact. Now we're going to talk about the difference between our machines and the other machines in the market. We manufacture the Total Zone brand. There are other brands out there, and they've been around a long time, like Sona's Air, Rainbow Air, US Products, just to name a few. We make both ultraviolet light units and corona discharge units. The ultraviolet light units are nice units. They're maintenance free, last a long time, but ultraviolet light produced ozone is not high concentration ozone. So it's good for applications like hospitality, hotel rooms, car detailing and things like that, where you're not doing a large area or large heavy embedded odors. The corona discharge type of ozone generation production is a much higher concentration of ozone. And in the restoration industry, who most of you sell to, the more ozone, the higher concentration you have, the faster the job will be done. And in this industry, as in all industries, time is money. So if you can finish a job in one day with a high output ozone generator, instead of taking 2 or 3 days with a lower output, it's better for you. We'll get into the benefits of our equipment. I will start at the front of the machine and work backwards. Our ozone generators are like the pizza: better ingredients, better product. We use the best parts in our ozone generators that we can find. The fans are built with a sealed ABEC 5 bearing, which has a mean time between failure rating of over 300,000 hours. If you equate that out, that's probably, it's in a neighborhood of 30 years of use before you'll have a problem with the fan. The fans have proved that out. We very, very rarely have a problem with the fan. Right behind the fan, we have our ozone producing module, the SPARC module, which is an acronym and stands for silicate polarized arc. The way a corona discharge ozone generator works, it takes a high voltage arc, passes it through a dielectric, usually ceramic, formica, or glass, to produce the ozone. The other corona discharge units are out there. I'm going to back up a little bit and just say that before our units were designed and invented, corona discharge units were designed like a bulldozer or trencher. Once you use them, you usually had to maintain them, clean them, disassemble them, replace parts before you use them again. And the reason for that is when you're using ambient air that is not dried, you'll have humidity, moisture. When that humidity strikes the high voltage arc, it makes nitric acid. If you have any exposed metal in the area of where the ozone is produced, that nitric acid will corrode that metal. It'll be a white powder in there. If you have a Sona's air, they have round glass cylinders with an aluminum grid inside and outside to make the arc, and you'd have to take that out and clean it or replace them and put it back together before you could use the machine again. Rainbow Air has a ceramic plate with a stainless steel screen on each side. Same thing, you have to clean and replace before you use that machine again. US Products has a device like this, which has ceramic tubes inside of a stainless steel network here. These tubes are not sealed real well, so the humidity can get in there, and then nitric acid will happen inside here, and this will usually have to be replaced at a high cost. The Total Zone units, the SPARC module, has no exposed metal in the ozone producing areas. All our electrode ingredients are enclosed in quartz Pyrex, so there is nothing to corrode, nothing to clean, nothing to replace. The modules have an average life, depending on where you are in the country and your humidity levels. They'll go from 3 years to 5 years. Some we've had them last 7, 8, 10 years. So our technology is extremely good. So we have the very good fan. Right behind it we have our SPARC module. Then the next component in all corona discharge units are the transformers. All of our competitors out there use the old style transformers, which are called wound magnetic transformers. They're heavy, and they also are very susceptible to humidity. If there's too much humidity in the air, the transformers can arc over and short out. Our transformers that we use in the Total Zones are electronic, and they are epoxy encapsulated. They're designed to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and humidity will not affect them. I've been known to squirt water into our units while they're running at trade shows, which is a stupid thing to do because it's 14,000 volts, but it does not hurt them. They will dry out and just keep working. Our units, for their size, are very, very powerful. The TZ2, which is the best-selling ozone generator for the restoration industry in the world, is only 6 inches by 9 inches by 12 inches and weighs 9 pounds. It will produce 3,000 milligrams of ozone and is rated for use in up to a 12,000 square foot structure, 120,000 cubic feet.